and then they in my husband's ear. Well, what's she doing over there? Like, listen, God rest her soul. My mother-in-law, one day, this was like, my boys were in school. Mm-hmm. I had just dropped them off at school, and she decided that she was going to come to the house, which she did, which I ain't had no problem, because I dropped them off at school, and normally I would go back home, and I would, like, get ready for, whatever else I had to do. And I didn't know she's coming by the house. I heard something at the door, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm in the back, and I didn't know she had a key to my house. Oh. So I hear somebody at the door, but I'm thinking like maybe a delivery man or somebody, whatever. So I'm like getting myself together because I'm home, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm going like so I can go answer the door or whatever. And she walks in the door. So like I'm coming out from around the corner, and she's coming in the door, and like we meet like this. And I was like, "Hey, how are you?" She's like, "So what you do all day?"
Hey everyone, welcome to the Christyn Show. Today I have a special guest, Vanessa Monago, and I'm so excited. She came here to talk about dreams and us following our dreams and what that looks like and how hard it is and how to get started and what it's going to be like. So I guess I wanted to tell you that I'm excited that you came because I am a dreamer, and it was hard to follow my dreams. It was hard to jump out there and do it. And actually stuff had to happen for me to go dream, to know that I had more gifts and more things to do. But if you could tell me how you followed your dream, can you share with us?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is weird. So I actually fell into a dream, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I had gone to school for audio production, and I wanted to be an audio engineer. Like I wanted to be in the studio recording people and doing all of that. And when I had my son, soon after I had my son, I had an ear infection that was really bad, and then it got mistreated, and so it got worse to the point where my eardrum got eaten away by this bacteria. Mm-hmm. And so I had surgery. I had to an eardrum replacement, and went back to the doctor, and they did the hearing test, and they're like, okay, your hearing is, is coming back, but your ear's not reliable enough to do the work that you do.
Oh, wow.
Right? So, that was like devastating because my dream had been to be, in the studio, not recording. I never wanted to be a performer, but just on the backside, on that side. And so, I was like, what do I do now? Because that was everything to me, right? And so I wanted to stay in that field, but I was like, okay, I can either go back to what I was doing, because I had, in my former life, I used to work in HR. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm not a paper pusher. I can't sit at the desk all day, But I wanted to stay in the production field, so I ended up going back to school for film. And that was just on a whim. Because it was never really on the radar. It was just like, I can at least be in the same environment. I'm a creative. Right. And so I just went back to school for film. And when I got into it, it was the audio piece, right? Of course. Mm-hmm. But then you're adding in this visual piece. And when I got into it, I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I love this more than the other thing. Yeah. Right. And so that was pretty much how I got started. It was accidental. Yeah. Right. But intended and I believe divine. Right. But that's how I got started.
So when you were talking, I think in the beginning when I first started, I said sometimes stuff has to happen to get us there. We don't always. Mm-hmm. And I wonder why we just don't go into it. Why we had to go through something or something had to happen to put us in that space of this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like when I was teaching, I think we just had a discussion before this, and I was saying I was a teacher. Right. To me, I was a really good teacher. I loved it. I loved being creative. Mm-hmm. I was already creative. I love giving them special assignments and projects and really working them, taking them to. The person I learned from being teacher under. The person I was under was take them to go see the stuff. Don't just teach them out the book, but once you teach it, go take them. So it was just that just was something in me, just kept bringing out the creative side of me. But then I got married, and then my son got sick in daycare, and my husband's like, you should come home. And I'm looking like, home not for me.
Right.
You know, and I came home and I was depressed, and I was like, I'm just going to sit here and watch this baby. And this is what I'm going to do. Because this, if you want me home, I'm going to just be right here. I was real depressed. I wasn't happy.
Wow.
But then it was like, you got more in you. Something kept saying, I'm going to say the Holy Spirit kept saying, you got more in you.
Right.
So when you was just talking about like this happened and then you went to school,
right?
It's like you had to pull out the more.
Right. And so for me, that was a whole thing, because I think at the time I was, when I was in school for audio, I was a teacher. That's when we met, right? And then I finished that and I left that and I went to, I don't know where I went, to be honest with you, but I went probably to another school and started teaching. So anyway, long story made short, when I was halfway through my program for film, I got laid off.
From teaching.
From teaching. And it was like, okay, what do I do now? Because I was full-time in school, and this was like a pivoting point for me also, because everybody was telling me, okay, well, you have to stop going to school and go get a job. And I was like, I'm finishing. Right?
Yeah.
Because I've been to community college, I've been to Bowie State, like I've done everything.
Yeah.
And I never finished. And just for me, it was like, I'm finishing. I don't know what we're gonna do here.
Right.
But I'm finishing because this will change our life.
Yeah.
Right? And so it just, for me, I had to decide that I was not going to take the safe route.
Yeah. So before you finish that up, you decided that you want to just finish school no matter what that looked like.
Yeah.
That's hard. Like, that's scary.
Yeah.
But that's for somebody. Like, I'm thinking, is somebody thinking, like, I want to finish school, but we need money for our family. But the school can help with our family. Past here.
Like,
so how do you just go? How did you make
it?
Because that's hard. That's a hard decision.
Okay, so it was a couple things. So do you take the immediate gratification and suffer the long way out? Or do you tough it up for the short term, for long term gain?
Yeah.
Right? It's just a decision.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, I was in school and I took advantage of the student loans. I said, look, I need a camera, I need a microphone, I need some lights. I took out the student loan, I bought my stuff, I started freelancing.
Oh, there it is.
I rewrapped it, right? Because like at this point, everything I'm doing is towards film.
So you used your gift.
But see, okay,
without
so that's a whole different thing. I use my current situation at the time. And the reason I say that is because even when I was in there, I felt like I was in film because my ear went out. I didn't feel like I was in film because I was gifted at it.
Wow.
I did not know that I had that gift.
Is it your gift?
It's absolutely my gift. But I didn't figure that out until 10 years later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
God kind of directed me into something that I didn't really realize was what he actually made me to do. It was just like I could not come down off of full-time status because I was finishing up. I was halfway through. I knew enough to work.
Yeah.
I started, getting out, and like I would be out at like, these clubs shooting bands at 11, 12 o'clock at night, coming in all hours. And for me, it was like, I take my kids to drop them off at Corcoran at school in the morning. I would go back and pick them up. I would drop them off to their grandmother. I would go to class. I get out of class at 4 o'clock, go pick them up from their grandmother, take them home, do dinner, husband come home. Okay, you got the kids, cool. I got to go back to class at night.
Wow.
And that was for the last 2 years, right? The hustle. I had to hustle. And I had to grind. And I kept that grind. And in between, I would fit in these little side jobs. And, that particular field pays more money. So if I'm freelancing, I could walk home with $400 in one night or something. You know what I mean? But it was just that process. And to tell the honest truth, like, it was not sustainable.
Yeah.
Right? But I did it until I finished, and then when I finished, I got a regular job. But we took a hit.
Yeah.
In the process.
Yeah.
Right? So it is, for us, it was really, we just got to sacrifice. And I talked to my husband about it. He was like, well, if you want to go, then go.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to do it, then do it. Don't make this process a 10-year process.
Yeah.
If you can make it a 3-year process.
Yeah.
Right? We just take the hit, and we'll figure it out on the back end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not easy.
So what are the steps? Like, you said that you just went, but what was the process of just figuring out that this is this is my gift? What was, how did you go from, I don't know, I have a gift, or I don't know that this is my gift, to, oh, this is my gift? That's a whole different thing. Now, you about to tap into something that's complete. This is off, like, this is because
off the
I
radar.
think, because I'm people want to know, like, I know that some people say you should start looking at your kids now, trying to figure out what their gifts are. But as you're talking, I'm figuring out why, because you don't want to go through a lifetime of not knowing. But even if I know their gift, they still have to know that that's their gift. So what was the steps of you?
That's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different conversation. That goes into something completely, like, okay, so this is what I believe, because this has been my experience, and I've seen other people, like, this is
because people want to know, like, how do I know that this is my gift? I could go make money all day off of something.
Correct.
Like I was just talking to my godmother. She was like, Josh, you have gifts that you can make money off right away. I said, so do you. She said, how I got money to make money? How I got gifts? I said, she's just as artsy as me. I said, did you know that people pay to get their Christmas trees done every year? They don't do them themselves.
Right.
Do you know that people get holiday tables done and pay because that's not their gift, but they want it to look nice.
Oh, right.
So people don't know that they're gifted and stuff until
Right.
you start putting it in their head like, no, you got that gift to do this, this, and this. So and people want to know, like, what's the steps to jumping out into, oh, this is something I love to do, to, no, this is my gift.
So I do believe that whatever. So the funny thing about it is, I think that we naturally function in our gift all the time, right? It's so normal to us that we don't see it as a gift, right? It's so normal. Like, I can sit and observe a conversation and take a million things away from it, right? I'm a storyteller, right? So I can visual storytelling, from audio, from a conversation, like, I'm a storyteller, right? So I'm functioning and have been functioning in that gift my entire life, but it's so normal to me that it doesn't feel like a gift. Right? It's just natural. But I also believe that for me, my experience has been that I had so many experiences in my life. This is why I say this going into it. You about to kick this in the
let's go.
I've had so many experiences in my life that caused me to find a way to cope. Or to find a strategy. Or to make this work. Or self-soothe, or whatever you want to call that. And so what happened is, because I had all of these tools, I think that I tied my identity to the tools. So what happens is, so you have a fallout with your friend, and you say, oh, I'm not ever going to trust nobody. I'm not ever going to let nobody get that close to me. So then I start living my life where I keep everybody right here. And then I have, like, a bad experience at my job. And then I'm like, I'm never going to give them people that kind of time anymore. And then I start doing, like, I adapt. I keep adapting to my experiences. Right. And so before you know it, I become a person who does those things. But what happens is, because I have now turned my identity, like, you hear people say all the time, well, I don't really fool with a whole bunch of women. Right? We say that all the time. People say that all the time. But we kind of shapeshift, if that's what I could say. We turn into a person based on all those experiences. And the real us is buried down there somewhere.
That's good.
The real person is buried down there somewhere. So for me, discovering that I had a gift, because this was packed, like, this was never on the radar. So for me, it became a process of, hey, why do I do this? Because I had that fallout with so like it became a process of peeling this onion away, peeling like all these layers away, and God really took me through a process for like, I would say from 2013, 2018, like 4 or 5 years. I remember one year, like, you know how people do the fast at the beginning of the year? And they're like, I'm fasting for 30 days and all that. Well, God told me to purge. And I remember this distinctly. Like, he told me to purge. And I was like, okay, I'm going to fast. He was like, no, I didn't say fast. I said purge. And so I said, okay, I'm going to purge. Now, when I'm hearing purge, I'm thinking go through the closets, throw away the old coats. You know what I mean? Like, start getting stuff out the house and all of that stuff. And so I did that. And I did it in the first 30 days of the year. And he was like, that's good. Keep going. I was like, but okay, let me check. Maybe I overlooked something, right? Yeah. And I got rid of more stuff and, you know, organized the house differently. Like, he was like, yeah, that's good. Keep going. And what he was saying to me, which I did not realize, is I had to purge experiences. I had to purge experiences. Yeah. I had to change my mind about some experiences. I had to change the stories that I told myself. Yeah. Right? I had to take another look at experiences that I'd had over the course of my life and make a different determination. Right? And so really what happened is a lot of things that were traumatic, I had to change my mind. I had to turn a corner. Yeah. Because even those things work for our good. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so that whole process led me into another process of saying goodbye to me. I had to say goodbye to the me that I had become because I did all these things to cover up and protect the real me.
I used to try to figure out why younger kids can jump faster. Like why they can
with no
just
hesitation.
Go try stuff.
Yep, just no hesitation.
Because it's all the stuff that we let build up. Yep. And smashed up the real us. Yep. Like, some of this stuff, like, even leaving work and doing all those things, I couldn't see that because all I knew was work. That's all I was taught was work. And like I said about that, like, just work. That's what you're supposed to do. And build your family and make money, become the best. But in that, you will try to become what the other person wanted you to become. And you lose yourself. You lose who you are.
You lose yourself.
Or you're not confident. You lost confidence and you're like, I can't see myself doing this. Even this podcast, I couldn't see myself being on here talking. I used to stand in front, in college, stand in front of people like stuttering, like, and like about to faint. Right. Sit here and have a conversation. Even my early podcast, just stuttering through the whole thing. But because I knew I was called to do this, I had to keep going through all my stutterings, through all Right. I had to keep going. And I was like, you'll get better over time. Right. He called you to this for something. Right. But once you just said that, it is. It's like, now I'm trying to become, as I get older, who I'm supposed to be. Like, trying to release, okay, and not only for me, but for my kids, because that's making them go a different way too. Like, my experiences will determine their experiences. Yes. Right. So I have to be careful. Like, nope, I got to be confident because I want them to be confident. No, you're the best of this because I need to, I have to work on that in me. So, this is some good stuff. So, we talked about, we were talking about how dreamers how do they just jump out and go do what they're called to do? Or just, this is something that you want to do and you're afraid to do it. Me, always. Afraid to do the next thing. But you know that this is what you're supposed to do.
What does supposed to do mean? Ooh. When you say that, what does that
mean?
When
I say that I know I'm called to it. That no matter where I walk, this thing bumps into me. You just said to me, like, just a few minutes ago, you said, every time you do something, you're naturally doing it. Yeah. So if I go... If I'm getting setting up my table in the kitchen, I'm not just putting a placemat and stuff. I need the flowers. I need the everything. This is normal to me. Right. People be like, that's too much. Right.
I wouldn't even think to do it.
Right. But to me, that's not too much. That's normal. Right. That's something that looks regular to me. And it's not, if you don't have it, it's not good. It's just that this is what I feel like. When I walk in a room, this is when I walk in my house, in my room.
That's what you want to see.
This is what I want to see.
Right.
Anytime I see something, it could be at church and I'm just saying, oh, this needs to move like that. Mm-hmm. Every time I do something in dressing and getting my kids ready and, anything I see.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean. This is what I was called to do. Mm-hmm. No matter what. If I say I'm not doing decor no more, if I'm not decorating, I'm not designing anymore, I'm going to still be doing it. Even if I see it in my head, I'm going to still be doing it. Mm-hmm. When I draw, I'm doing it. When I write on a piece of paper, I'm doing it.
So how significant is that to you? Meaning, like you said, everywhere you go and everywhere you go, mm-hmm. you're doing it, mm-hmm. and it's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So who decides like that you're supposed to do that?
I feel like that's a gift that God gave me. Mm-hmm. Even if and that's just one. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that we have just one.
Exactly.
I believe that I'm on here to motivate women to mm-hmm. know that they're greater than they think. Mm-hmm. I'm here to bring on other women to see that they're not the only person that's going through something or been through something, mm-hmm. or somebody that you can overcome it. Like, because I think we all sit in there. I think that's why when I sat in that living room with my now 1-year-old son, and I had to come home from work because the daycare didn't do him right.
Right.
I had to decide that, you know what? I had to decide it. I didn't decide it right away, right. But something came over me to say, you have more in you. Mm. And then I had my husband that left his job, good job, to come home and say, I see something in your gift, and I'm gonna do it with you.
Wow.
You left your good job. You come say that.
Wow.
I'm gifted in something.
Right.
That he saw something in me.
Right. Right.
So
that you didn't see yet.
I didn't see yet.
Yeah.
And some days still don't see. I'm still struggling with that. That's not I love when people say, maybe I'm a person that I love affirmation, but I'm thinking, I don't always say to somebody, oh, that's really nice. And I'll be like, it's okay. But wow. Yeah.
So I do believe that. So when you get past, we were talking about those peeling those layers back mm-hmm. and all that. I do believe that when you get to that core, and you get to that gifting, mm-hmm. like before we even got here, mm-hmm. that's what God said. That's what He sent you here for. Mm-hmm. Like I don't believe. Yes, you're supposed to do it, but mm-hmm. like God said, okay, so I'm gonna send Jess mm-hmm. in whatever year, right?
Yeah.
And during the pandemic and during this time period,
yeah. And
she's going to do this for me, and my glory is going to be coming out.
Yeah.
Through that mm-hmm. in that way.
Yeah.
Right? I believe that it's not just like I believe that our true identity is 1,000% tied to how we are supposed to make impact in the earth.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's why it's like so critical. Like I don't believe that I'm trying not to
go ahead.
I just believe that like the model of like everything that we have to do to like fulfill our purpose, or like when it comes down to like the God space, I don't believe that is minimized or relegated to church mm-hmm. or ministry. I don't mm-hmm. like living every day. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So why would we kind of like box this part of, okay, well I want to give God glory and like box that into a ministry or mm-hmm. one day a week. Mm-hmm. Like you with your kids,
yeah,
you are passing on legacy and heritage, yep. and like all of that, everything that we do, mm-hmm. there's some God in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it comes down to dreamers, like for me, my perspective is that it just takes courage to decide that you're going to live counter to what the world thinks you should do,
yeah,
and you're just gonna focus on God and say, God, where am I? What am I supposed to be doing? It just takes courage.
Yeah,
people are not going to see it. It's a dream. They're not going to see it. You gonna look crazy. I mean, just like so, and I'm
gonna hit something on that.
They're not gonna support.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna look crazy. They're gonna think you out of your mind. Like me saying, I'm just gonna finish school. You know, like family members are like, oh no, she need. And then they in my husband's ear. Well, what's she doing over there? Like listen. God rest her soul. My mother-in-law one day. This was like, my boys were in school. Mm-hmm. I had just dropped them off at school. And she decided that she was going to come to the house, which she did, which I ain't had no problem because I dropped them off at school. And normally I would go back home and I would like get ready for, you know, whatever else I had to do. And I didn't know she's coming by the house. I heard something at the door, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm in the back. And I didn't know she had a key to my house. Oh. So I hear somebody at the door, but I'm thinking like maybe a delivery man or somebody, you know, whatever. So I'm like getting myself together because I'm home, right? And so I'm going like so I can go answer the door or whatever. And she walks in the door. So like I'm coming out from around the corner and she's coming in the door and like we meet like this. And I was like, hey, how are you? She's like, so what you do all day?
Okay.
I said, what do you mean? I mean, you drop the kids off at school and your husband's at work. What you do all day? And I'm sitting there like, part of me, you know, like I got two sides now. So part of me does say I should do a certain thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other part of me says, well, this your mother-in-law, so you got to be respectful. And then I'm like, but she in my house. Like I'm having this whole show, like I'm standing here looking at her. And I'm having this whole devil on one side, angel on the other. I'm having this struggle in my head. And I'm just like, well, I have to prep for my day. I said I have classes, like you know my schedule, right? Right?
Yeah.
I'm pulling food out, like
yeah.
And she's like, yeah, well, you know, I just, and you came all the way over here to ask me that?
Yeah. Phone call away. Phone call away.
But she really did. Like they had a real problem.
Yeah.
With me.
Yeah.
Finishing what I started.
Yeah.
And thank God my husband's the man that he is, right? Because he had to navigate that with me. Yeah. Even though he didn't change what he was doing. Yeah. Right? But it just takes courage. Yeah. You have to set your mind. You cannot get upset when people don't understand. Like what happens is you literally are making a decision to live a reality that does not exist for anybody but you.
Yeah. I had to learn. Recently somebody asked me, you know, are y'all still doing that Wishcom business? Are you still doing this? I had to learn that even if I explain it, you won't understand it. And I learned that I can't tell everybody because everybody's not going to be on that journey with you. Yeah. And I had to say, you know what? We're doing good. Mm-hmm. I'm not affecting you. And I just respectfully. Yeah. Because I can't tell you right now. Right. People don't understand it until the end of the journey. Right. Where they see everything come in and that's what you've been doing this whole time? Right. And sometimes it's so weird to even explain to my kids, Mom, what you do? And they're not asking in a bad way. They go to school with kids that have parents as doctors, as lawyers. Right. Tangible, like things that they walk out the house and go do. Right. And I said, you know what I do. Right. They know what I do. Just like you had that, and it's not all I do. Right. But you know part of what I do. Right. And because I can't explain it to him where he can understand what I do, then I'm just like, I'm going to show you what I do. Mm-hmm. And they understand I do this. They understand I do designing. They understand those things. But it's like, oh, how do you get your money? Oh, they ask that. Oh, it gets deep. It gets deep. Know. Right. And it's okay to I want them to ask questions. Right. But until I have the answer, I said, I'll let you know. Right. Just know that you're taken care of. Right. Right. You want for That's all that matters. Right. And it's good to have, what I learned was it's good to have a good village around you. Because when I don't have it, I have an amazing village around that makes sure that they're okay. Right. 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 And that's how it works. Yeah, it definitely. Because when your dream's not making money yet, how do you explain that? Why do you have to explain that? You don't. But when your child is asking you that, when my child asks me that, I'm looking like, wow. I have a brother that asks me, a younger brother that says, "What y'all do?" My mind is always set on don't look like what you're going through. Mm-hmm. So I make that a point. I don't fake nothing.
Right.
I don't do any of those things.
Right.
But even just make sure your hair's together. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're together. Sometimes I battle with that because I'm gonna pick you up in my sweats and t-shirt.
Right.
My hair might still be pinned. I'm gonna put a hat on so you won't see the pins. But I try my best not to look like what I'm going through.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it is hard when you're a dreamer and you don't have tangible ways to say, okay, I make money this way. Not for in my kid's sight. Not in... I don't care about everybody. I don't care. Yeah. No, I could care. No. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
Because I know that this is something I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And...
But let me tell you something that I know.
Okay.
On the other side of this now. Because my boys, when I went into this, were 1 and 4.
Okay.
And now they're 18 and almost 21. Mm-hmm. And so on the other side of this, looking back, the work ethic that they have.
Okay.
Like, they saw me hustling.
Okay.
They saw it. Mm-hmm. They hustled with me to some extent because they was getting shuffled, you know.
Yeah.
And they would know, like, when they would know when I was going to be home to put them to bed. Yeah. And when I was not.
Yeah.
Because classes let out at 10 o'clock. Like, they so now on the other side of that, their work ethic, their understanding of sacrifice, and really putting in effort. They understand the relationship between effort and outcome. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there are things that you're giving your kids that you don't have to apologize for. Yeah. Because, like, money can't buy that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, if you offer me the opportunity to give my kids stuff or to give them character, I'm going to take character.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Because I think it would be totally different. The amount of times that I go up to that school, I think I should just work there. I think the joy of being able to, oh, you need this? Mm-hmm. Not jumping every time, but oh, your child's sick. Oh, I could come get him. Mm-hmm. Oh, your child had an accident. Oh, I could come over there and deal with that. And I don't have another person dealing with that. That's a whole nother situation. So it's like being able to do that in their lives. When I started doing designer, like decor and doing parties and stuff like that, I think my youngest, no, I don't even think my youngest was born yet, but my 8-year-old was like 6 weeks.
Oh.
When my husband decided, like, I'm leaving this is what we're doing 100% of the time. This is what we're going to do. So when you started talking about that, I was like, this is what they know. Yeah, so to know reality. The reason why they ask questions now is because they're older and they have friends that have parents that actually go into a building or actually do those things. And they have career day and people come up to the school and talk about their careers and stuff. But it's just like this is what they know. Right. And my kids are so easily experienced. Like, we go outside and do a picnic and that's amazing to them. Right. But I get to do that. Right. Some people don't get to do that. Right. I get to be home when they come. I get to pick them up. They don't have to stay. They want to, but they don't have to stay before they have to care for stuff. I get to be home. I get to cook them dinner. Right. I get to do homework with them. Homework gets done. Right. Like, you know, everybody
when they get to be teenagers, when they get to be teenagers, all those hard conversations, you're going to have them with ease. Yeah. Because you have a foundation where it's like, you know, you're a part of every part of their life. Yeah. Right? You're in there. Yeah. And so, and that's not to say that it doesn't occur with other parents that are working, that are leaving the house every day. Not to say that. Oh, yeah. No. But what I'm saying is that the stuff that you are, like, you are, okay, let me say it this way. I was 18, 19, somewhere in there, before, and this was not even coming out of my own family space. Right. I was 18 or 19 before anybody ever spoke to the fact that I could make a living being a creative. I never knew that like, my parents were government
But this
workers.
is regular now.
It's regular.
Right.
But this is their reality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But see, for me, I grew up thinking, okay, you go to school, you get your little degree, you go in the government, you work there for 30 years or 40 years, you retire, you get you a good check, and then, you ride off into the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Right? So who said that you could be a creative and make a good life?
Mm-hmm.
That was never a conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just so happened I met someone who was a creative and had made a good life, and she was like, listen, whatever your gift is, she said, God will cause your gift to make a good life for you. And I was like, that was so foreign to me, and I held on to it in the back of my mind, but I kept doing what I was in HR and I was making some decent money with, but what you're showing your kids and what you're planting in them is that they don't have to conform to the American dream.
Right. And make your own.
Make your own dream. Live your own dream.
Yep. Yep. So for those people that are trying to dream, right? Or that are dreamers and they're afraid. They're afraid of all the things that we just talked about. What's some encouragement that you could give them along the way as they're deciding to jump or leap or just step out?
I mean, fear is always going to be there.
Yeah.
So I would just say, what I remind myself of is that I was made for this.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm not doing it, I'm keeping myself from my own destiny.
Yeah.
I was made for this. And every single time that I go into something new, I have two main emotions. I'm like exhilarated and really excited about it, and I am deathly horrified at the same time. Every single time. I've been living in this space for a long time, but every single time I'm just like, oh, this is going to be so exciting. Then I'm visualizing how I'm going to do stuff, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And at the same time, I'm just like, how in the world am I going to do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's normal. Yep. It's normal, right? So
Didn't know it was normal, but I thought it was only me.
No.
This is why we're here.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's And so what I'm saying is like, that is absolutely normal. And you just take one step and take another step and take another step.
Yeah.
And take the step that you can take.
Yeah. Right?
If you can't leap, then just jump.
Yeah.
If you can't jump, take a step.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because any step in a different direction is going to bring some kind of outcome.
Yeah.
Right? And so you just look at the success that you have. If it's a small success, take that success and celebrate it, and then take the next step.
Yeah.
It's not, it don't have to be like, you don't have to jump out the plane.
Yeah.
Right? Just go get on the trampoline.
Yeah.
you don't have to jump. You don't have to take the whole thing. Just do what you can do where you are.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
The important thing is that you have to at least acknowledge the gift.
Yeah. That's good.
You know what I mean? Because otherwise you're burying it.
Yeah.
And if you bury it, and so here's the other thing. You mentioned this before, because you said you don't think you have one gift. The other thing that I think about, and okay, I'm going to go to the Bible for a minute. Okay, so the other thing I think about is there's a parable, and I love parables because it's stories.
Right.
But there's a parable that talks about like the people with the talents. Like one was given one, and one was given, I don't know if it's 5, and one was given 3, and one was given 5. And so the one that buried it in the earth was kind of like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? But the others went and traded what they had. So what that
means
is... Can I tell you
what I saw when you said buried it in the earth?
Go ahead.
Those in the cemetery. They buried it. They never used it.
Never used it.
And that's why they say that's the richest.
But you know who else does that? Those who have that gift and they stay in the identity where they have taken all these strategies and all these coping mechanisms and all that stuff, and they just stay with that. They don't say, like they don't start peeling back that onion.
Yeah.
It's buried in the earth.
Yeah.
You just gonna stay like this your whole life?
Yep. And some people are alright with it.
But dreamers not alright with
that. They
not. You're like, no, I gotta get this out.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, so when you have a gift and you go and operate in it and you go like mingle with people, you learn other things from those people.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so the things that you learn become new gifts. Right?
Yeah.
Because what the Bible says is that they had these gifts and then they multiplied them. How they multiplied them?
Yeah.
Like, I went to school for film, but I learned how to do bookkeeping. So now I have an accounting gift. It's not as strong as my film gift.
Then you're stretching us.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I'm going to work in my gift, but I'm not going to go learn any more gifts.
No, you got to learn.
But that's what runs in our mind. Like, okay, this is my gift. How do I perfect it? But in the perfection, you learn a new gift.
Yes. Because when you go and operate, when you go to someone's function, and you just sitting there, like, you go and do what you do at their function, but they have a guest speaker, and that guest speaker starts talking to their people.
Yeah.
But you listening.
Yeah.
You picking up stuff too.
Yeah.
That might be the one thing that's enough to get you to over your hump, your current hump, and then you start picking up, like, it's the exchange.
Yeah.
That's how you multiply. Like, that's how you multiply. You function in the gift that you have. You operate in the gift that you have, and then you trade with other people. I don't know how to keep my books. Can you show me how to keep my books? And then now I'm coming back with 2 gifts where I had 1.
I'm working on multiplying this year. That's going to be this year into next. Because we're almost at the end. But this year into next, that's what I'm going to be working on. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Because what happens is, like, this is what I'm working on now. You need to develop a system that works for you. Yeah. And that system may be, like, for me, I need to figure out how to automate things because I don't have the money to hire people. Right? So I need to learn how to automate this part of my company so I can be over here doing the film stuff, but this is still running. Yeah. That's a whole gift right there. Yep.
I'm going to share something with you after the podcast about how to get that done. But, yeah. Okay. But we're gonna get that done. Yeah. But that's really good. I never looked at it as the talents and how to grow them. Yeah. And what that looks like.
Yeah, it's a trade. It's an exchange. You know, and you get from some people and some people you give to. Yeah. Right? That's how you keep the whole, the whole system, just the whole village healthy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But that's something that, like, I'll say less. Okay.
This was an amazing podcast, and let me tell you, she wrote a book. What year? What year was this book written?
I think 2017.
And listen, I'm checking it out this month. I'm doing this 30-day devotional for dreamers only. Check it out, guys. But I'm giving one away. She brought one for us to give away. Yes. So I'm gonna tell you, look in the comments, but in the description below, and I'm gonna tell you how you can win this. Yeah, this is gonna be good. I can't wait to get into this. So I think I want you to write in the comments dream or dreamers, but check below, and then I have all the directions there so you can win this book, and I'll be sending it to one lucky winner. I'm excited. You gonna sign it for us?
Sure.
Okay, absolutely. Great. Absolutely. So we'll get to sign the book. And what you have going on next before we get out of here?
So I am going to I'm moving from dreams to visions now. And so in January, I'm going to do a Trendsetters Weekend, which is for visionaries. Okay. I can give you the details, or I'll give you a link so that if anybody's interested, they can register. Okay. And, it's going to be exciting.
All right, y'all. We're looking forward to seeing everything that she's doing. Don't forget, I'm giving away this amazing book, and I'm going to be doing it myself for 30 days, and I'm excited to do it. See you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Hey, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you got anything from it, please share it with someone you think it will bless. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to the J. Christyn Show right here on YouTube. You can download the audio-only version by subscribing to the show on most major podcast platforms. Also, make sure you check out our links in the comments below for more ways to engage with me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the J. Christyn Show.